Hi, everybody, and welcome to the recordings of the SolarWinds MSP virtual roadshow for the APAC region. We know that we weren't going to send the recordings, and we told you guys that at first, but then we had those technical difficulties, and we're really sorry that that happened. So we wanted to make sure we could get you all of the content that you missed and get you a recap and recover of the content that you already enjoyed and maybe some of the stuff from the other tracks that you missed. So coming up, we're going to have a SolarWinds MSP business update from Jamie DeVoe. We're going to have a product update and what's new with SolarWinds from Alex Quilter and Sarah Foley. We'll jump into a customer success session with me about the investments that we're making to help you succeed. And then we'll get you back into that content in case there was something you missed from the Microsoft presentation, the local market conditions peer panel, and the rest of the sessions from the latter part of the roadshow. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks again for your patience earlier this week, and we hope you enjoy the content.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the APAC Roadshow. It's Jamie DeVoe, the Director of Sales for APAC. Hope everybody's doing well in the comfort of your own home or your home office or at your office and ready to go through the APAC Roadshow today. I wanted to open up a little bit and talk a little bit about what we've seen in the industry for 2020, especially during the crazy time we're dealing with at the moment. And just seeing what our MSP is doing, what's happening in the marketplace, and give you a bit of insight to what we see from our side and what's happened in the past 4 to 5 months, and really just walk you through that transformation during COVID-19. So really at the first point of the conversation is, you're really built for this. It's what you do as an MSP. It's been a really crazy 4 or 5 months. A lot of MSPs have seen a shift in their business, whether they're dealing with what the government deems as non-essential or essential businesses. You've had to, do a rapid move to work from home. You've had to really come up with new ideas and ways to actually make sure your customers are able to run through this trying time. And for some of you, you've looked at different ways to align your business to ensure that you can secure revenues and can continue to keep people paid and make sure that they're working. But at the end of the day, the nice thing to see is from the over 1,500 customers we have in the ANZ market, it's been very good to see that a lot of people are, as MSPs, working together to get out of this and to make sure that their customers are really at the best of what they can do, whether they're work from home or whether they're in the office. We really don't know what could come of this, whether we're a U, V, W on the recovery curve. We're still going through it, and we don't know how long this could potentially go on. So it is a bit of a crazy time, and it's scary for a lot of us and a lot of you running your own business. But the one thing I'm sure of is that we're going to be able to get through it. We've had great positive numbers. More people are logging into our system than ever before and using our remote monitoring and management tools to service their customers remotely during this time. So the outlook that I've seen from speaking with our partners is one of stability, one of ability to be able to secure more security revenue, to get their customers set up on more cloud services, which really at the ultimate time makes us more sticky. So what I can say is there's positivity there, and I can tell you 100% what I've seen, that we are definitely built for this marketplace. As we go into why we're calling it a transformation, it's not a crisis because we really have seen you go through enormous shifts. As we saw in the GFC in 2008, we saw a lot of customers be able to come out of it because of the recurring revenue and because you're definitely needed as MSPs. IT is the most important, operation in a business, and a lot of the time, it's really becomes the most important product in these trying times. Customers need systems up and running. They need to be able to process orders. They need to be able to work with customers. And really, at the end of the day, that's your job to ensure that there's 100% business availability during that time. So you've gone through an enormous shift, but the key thing is to make sure that this is viewed as a transformation, not a crisis, not something that's going to stop you from continuing to generate revenue in your business and service your customers as needed. You're going to be stronger as a result of this. We have all seen enormous shifts, but what I've seen is customers, more specifically MSPs, have become more flexible. They've been able to be more agile. They've gone to different areas and avenues to find new revenue streams, to keep their staff employed and to keep their customer service. And that's really the key thing that I can see as we go through this transformation, and why we're calling it a transformation, not a crisis. So we really got to look forward into, what are some of the key things we need to be doing over the next coming months to ensure that we continue that service of our customer base and continue to make sure that our revenue stream is less impacted as possible. So really, we're past this. We've seen, the 6 steps in responding to COVID-19. The first thing was prepare your customers the best you possibly could. Here in Australia, we pretty much made the decision overnight on March 18th, and I'm sure I'll never forget that day, that all the staff would work from home. The first time ever in my life where a company has told me that I needed to work from home moving forward. It was scary. It was insane. We saw our IT department really step up and make sure that all of our systems were prepared to ensure that our staff could work from home. And we made the shift. And a lot of you had to help your customers do the same thing. So it was a pretty crazy time. From there, we had to make sure those customers were secure. We had to make sure that now that they were accessing their own computer systems, their own Wi-Fi networks, and they were actually accessing the customer environments, that they were secure. There's a lot of unknowns as customers start to move to work from home, and therefore we needed to make sure that we weren't going to mess up that experience for other users in the network. We need to really adapt our operations, obviously. There's a big shift in the way that we did business. We couldn't leisurely go out, and talk to customers on site anymore. We had to do everything remotely. We had to make sure our support systems were up and running, that we could see tickets, that we could properly get to our customers on time, and really adapt our operations to adapt to a level where we couldn't go see them on site. The biggest thing was preserving revenue, whether we were moving our service management plans to lower capabilities so that we could obtain a budgetary requirement for the customer, or some kind of reasoning around there. We had to really make sure that we could keep our staff on board by any means necessary. The government stepped in, JobKeeper, and a lot of different funds to help us out there. And you need to make sure that you're available for those tax returns and make sure that you can scale your business to be able to achieve that. The risk and opportunity, we need to assess it. We need to make sure that we understood what our risks were in the business, not only in the first initial weeks of this pandemic, but obviously in the next months. Were we going to be able to continue to pay for the rent and all the other things that we needed in salaries? And we need to also understand what were the opportunities out there that we could immediately go out and capitalize on it. What I saw was, massive shift to the cloud. Office 365 customers who were reluctant to move pre-COVID-19 were very quickly moved to a cloud environment, and a lot more security solutions being offered, whether it be a bundle of layered security, spam filtering, endpoint detection and response, AV, or even password management across the board. So really making sure that we understood the risk and what was going to be there in the future, but also understand how we needed to shift our business to be able to obtain that opportunity. And then really refocus our sales and marketing to ensure our customers were really aware of what options were out there in terms of this pandemic and what they needed in this trying time. A lot of customers didn't know what was required from them or how this would differ from being in an internal network in the office to going to work from home. So we needed to refocus our position in sales and marketing and ensure our customers were able to weather the storm, but also look for new opportunities through security suites, cloud opportunities, so on and so forth. As we went out and surveyed, your customers, and we saw what your end users were saying in the marketplace, really PwC's pulse survey of more than 300 CFOs, believe 49% believe the work from home is here to stay moving forward. If you talk in the communities and maybe you've talked to some of your customers, I walk around, I'm in a small town, the small suburb of Surrey Hills in New South Wales, and I talked to a lot of the residents here, and a lot of people who are working for smaller startups are actually thinking about canning the office altogether, getting a service office for regular, meeting catch-ups where they need to get together face to face, otherwise working from home. So this could be the new norm, and are we, ready for that? It's something you got to make sure that you're ready for and that willing to take on should we shift there. CompTIA has surveyed over 500 business professionals. Only 20% work from home prior to COVID-19, and more than 65% are interested in seeking help to build remote capabilities after COVID-19. So really further to that point, we're seeing more businesses thinking work from home moving forward. Less rent. I don't think SolarWinds would ever do that, but less rent, less cost for overhead, and potentially this might be the new norm. So it's really something to start thinking about as you survey your own customers. And moving forward, MSPs will hold the greatest value for VARs, cloud providers, and other vendors. Why? Because without an internal IT department or people internally, they're going to rely on more outsourced IT services. And we've seen that more and more with internal IT departments internally coming in, downloading trials to see who offers the product through MSPs. We very quickly, through reseller programs, redirect our customers. So there's options out there continuously as we see those end users shift to a work from home ideology. And really, if the focus is that moving forward, you need to make sure that your business is set up. So after we surveyed your customers, we surveyed you. We surveyed our partners on the impact of COVID-19 on their business and the expectations in the next 12 months. Some of the things that we saw were 42% of respondents experienced a decrease in revenue, greater than 10%. Companies offering primarily managed services reported much less severe impact and expect a more positive 12-month revenue impact than companies with a break-fix model. The crazy thing is I think back to 2008, I wasn't in Australia yet. I was still selling MSP in the western part of America. So I had all the way from Canada all the way down to California. And when we went through the global financial crisis, it was quite interesting because obviously America was impacted the largest out of the rest of the world. And we saw a lot of our managed services providers still being able to retain, and stay consistent in their revenue. And it's much the same this time around. I'm actually hearing in some cases increases in revenue, especially around the project work initially with work from home, and then the stability of being able to sell more security products all the way through. So, really keying into that last point is that security presents the largest opportunity growth. When it comes down to our EDR solution, it's been going quite quickly. Endpoint detection and response through Sentinel-1. Our spam filtering solution, and also products like password management through Passportal have been really key products that we're seeing move quite quickly. Backup, Office 365, whether it's all those things all together, customers are taking more and more look at them and really getting more and more serious about how they release that into their customer base. So really, at the end of the day, we have made a lot of decisions in security, and we look at ourselves as being built properly for you. It's what we do as a company, and we don't want to shift focus to SolarWinds in this slide, but we want to make sure that you're aware that we are here from you, and our goal is to make sure that we stand with you through these hard times. Some of the things that we did as a company to make sure that we were prepared, and I suggest you take some screenshots here, but really at the end of the day, the preparedness and what we've done to prepare for this is really ensure that our human capital adjustment is there, supply continuity, things like customer care and retention. And some of the customers here in Australia will have noticed that we've added a full customer support wing to our organization, where we have another pillar to stand up in order to make sure that usage of the product is going well, that your voices are being heard when it comes to usability of the product or technical training that you may have required. Another voice outside of that account manager that you need to make sure that the operation is running smoothly. And then looking at any kinds of things from mergers and acquisitions, leadership and culture reinforcement across the board. These shifts were big for us as well, and we needed to maintain a strong front in order to make sure all of you were prepared through it. So the really key goal is to know that you've got a partner in this situation, and you will have a partner moving through it as well. Some of the things we've done as an organization, if you didn't know about it already, is we've added a resource hub to our website. This is available for everybody to get an opportunity to see what specific customers are during this time, whether it be preserving revenue, all kinds of things like that. So we do regular webcasts where we secure and support work from home customers, revenue preservation, operational priorities, managing cash flow, and ongoing support of work from home. We have some videos that are going to be coming up soon with educational quick tips from some of the top MSPs and speakers out in the space, and see what they're doing. Obviously, customer peer advice. Nobody better to understand what's going on than the peers that you deal with on a regular basis. And really some partner resources that are coming soon as well. When it comes to white label guides, maximizing bandwidth on home networks, to work from home security, infographics, graphics, and pre-drafted social media posts, all things to help you align yourself to sell more into your customer base. And you can see these things being updated on a regular basis directly on our resource hub for COVID-19. So on this last slide, I want to remind you that you're built for this. This may be the first time you've encountered COVID-19, but it's definitely not the first time you've encountered hard times. And I want you to know that SolarWinds MSP is here for you during this time to ensure that we can continuously offer you great products and ensure that you're able to service those customers to the best of your abilities. And with that, I'm going to sign off. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll get to see you really soon. Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the product update. My name's Alex Quilter, and I'm the Vice President of Product Management here at SolarWinds over the security portfolio. We're going to talk you through a brief market update of where we see the product portfolio going, followed by a demo of some of our newer capabilities. I'm joined by Sarah Foley, VP of Product Management as well, that will cover the second demo of the session. To get started, we actually see the technology market moving in a couple of different areas, and we focus on two kind of major areas of capability: operations and security, and there's trends going on in both. I tend to gravitate towards security, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the operational trends we're seeing in market today. AI ops is a big area we're seeing. It's really about the application of artificial intelligence to the areas of IT operations and DevOps. It's really about algorithmic analysis of that IT data and how we can make better choices and move ahead in some of these areas. Our RMM products manage and create and produce a lot of this data that's used for this analysis, and the applying of data science to that so that we can make more intelligent decisions and active workflows for you using that data is kind of where we see this going. This plays well into bots. I'm sure all of you are familiar with bots and their emergence these days, also aligned with the rising trend in data science and the application of machine learning. Bots are about our customers and how often many of them have the same problems. They ask the same questions, and bots are about codifying some of those answers and being able to respond more automatically to some of the requests and the other activities going on in market. Paired with AI ops and the direction that's going for IT operations and DevOps teams, bots are a way to kind of extend some of that intelligence down to our customers and our interaction points we have with them. And finally, cloud. We all know cloud has been around. It's one of the buzzwords du jour. Almost everything is cloud something, but what we're seeing is actually a migration of workloads to the cloud, services to the cloud, and a lot more interdependency on things that operate both as services from the cloud down to the things that happen on-prem and the interactions of those things together. There's a lot of management operation that happens there. You need to manage these cloud objects, the administrative layer of services versus infrastructure, and a lot of that is emerging quickly. On the security half, there's a couple of areas that are growing, and we all know security is becoming more important. All of us are being targeted more directly. Ransomware is one of the popular attacks that we see growing. So developing around these other models of a zero trust, which really means don't assume that anybody is who they say they are. Two-factor authentication is a must. Make sure that you're validating everything that's coming in. We're trying to incorporate all of these areas into our own product set. You may have seen our own Trust Center launch. Check it out. It's where we'll talk about what we do as SolarWinds to secure our products and how that goes. Continuous. It's an interesting word to put with security, but the reality is security is a cycle. Things are always happening. New vulnerabilities come out, and you have to be able to respond in kind. So you have to keep an active look, almost a continuous operation around your security practices, especially your security hygiene practices like patch. And finally, a user-centric model. We used to be all about protecting the perimeter, protecting devices, kind of figuring out how to keep people out of your network. What we're finding is users are mobile. The mobility of people and people working from anywhere has created this situation where security needs to extend wherever the people are going. And with that, your models for security, who you're protecting, how you're protecting, need to extend all the way to the access points that these humans have as they go through your environment. This is in their mailbox. This is in their mobile workstations, as well as in the mobile devices they carry around with them. And we're seeing these things impact all of the products that we bring to market. So we're hoping for feedback if any of these are touching you. That we'd love to hear how it's impacting you and your customers today. And with that, I'm going to move ahead and show you a preview of some of the things that we're going to talk about, our key product growth initiatives that we've been working on in the last year. So recently, on the desktop management front, we've released a lot of our capabilities that we have here in MSP to be enabled and open for a more directed use by IT departments. More of a regular use case of taking a lot of the capabilities we've developed and built and applying them, aligning them with what a typical IT department would do under the desktop management banner. On the security front, we actually released Microsoft 365 Backup, which is the ability to protect all of the data stored in the Office 365 environment, being OneDrive, SharePoint, and your mailboxes that you have. And added recovery testing, which is the feature I'm going to be demoing here in a few minutes. And that's the ability to get proof that the backup of your critical systems are bootable and ready to be restored when you would need them. We also released EDR, which is endpoint detection and response, integrated directly into our N-Central product. It's been a highly requested and popular feature. You should check that one out. Coming up next, along these same lines, we have the analytics engine for N-Central and RMM, as well as improvements to our Mac management. Mac management aligns more with the Apple Business API and extends a lot of the capabilities we're really strong on in Windows today over to our Mac devices as well. For the backup product, we're looking at extending into data protection, which is really more about covering more of the pieces of infrastructure that you have and protecting all of them kind of en masse and making sure that all of the critical data you have in your environment is well protected. And deeper on the security, we'll be releasing endpoint detection and response for RMM, along with extending our capabilities for web filtering and providing that protection kind of around the user-centric model that we were talking about before. And going out into the future, we're looking at improving our N-Central scale capabilities. This is the ability to take that product and cover additional endpoints and bring it to the scale that we're seeing as the MSP market continues to grow and you and your customers continue to grow. And along with that, auto check thresholds, which is really something that allows us to do more intelligent threshold setting and optimize and make your technicians more efficient in terms of when these thresholds are firing and how the checks need to be monitored and managed and eliminate a lot of the manual work. With that, we're looking at extending our backup integration into the remote monitoring and management platforms. We want to make sure that all of the capabilities that we've worked on are available to the customer, to you as our customers in these integrated platforms, so that all the things that we can do in backup are available to you from our RMM platforms as well. And finally, on the security side, we're releasing a new capability we're excited about, which is the ability to perform security assessments, reach out to the endpoints in your environment, check for vulnerabilities, come back and monitor that in real time and continuously going forward. So as we look at these growth initiatives going forward, we're really excited about what we've done, also what's coming. And we wanted to briefly give you a demo of two of these ones we talked about. First, recovery testing, which I will do. And second, Sarah Foley will talk about the next one. All right, so what you're seeing is our backup management dashboard. You're probably very familiar with this. Backup management dashboard is kind of the home base for where you manage all of your servers and workstations for backup. It's also where you get at your Office 365 backups. You can see here the list of systems that I have being backed up. And what I specifically wanted to talk about is our new capability we've delivered called recovery testing. You can see it here in the left nav bar, recovery testing as a main area. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually show you how to take a device that's actually being backed up, add it to a recovery plan, and then show that the disaster recovery checking is happening. So let me go back to this dashboard. We're going to look at all of my devices. It'll take a second here to pull them in. We're going to click and add a couple of these devices here. We'll take this one, and we'll go ahead and grab this one. We're going to take these 3 devices and we're going to add them to a recovery testing plan. We use a recovery testing plan as a kind of a container to allow you to set up devices in batch and add them to this level of protection. You may not want it on every system, but you may want it on a few. We'll go ahead and click this. It lets you pick between bi-weekly testing and monthly testing, or you can choose no plan, which would remove it from a plan. The basic idea is that when you add a device to one of these plans, it's going to make that backup, restore it to a SolarWinds provided location, all the way to the point where we'll boot it up and we'll take a screenshot and document and send you the results of that screenshot, so you can see that the backup you have is actually fully ready to be recovered in the event of an emergency or a need. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue here on the monthly. You're going to see that these devices are added to, are getting ready to be added to plan. A couple of things to note: we do only support servers. We don't yet do Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. You can see that here. This first Dell Latitude is incompatible. This operating system isn't supported. This third device looks like it's already in a plan, so maybe it was a misselection that I had picked, but it's one that you won't be adding it twice. And finally, we have one that will be added. So I'm going to go ahead and click next to move that ahead. And you'll see that it says passphrase detected. This is because I'm logged in as a security officer. I already have the passphrase or the permission to be able to access this device for recovery, which allows me to set it up this way. And I'll move ahead. It's going to add this to plan. You're going to see it's now started up, and it's going to kick off, and every month it's going to get restored to the SolarWinds location, and the screenshot will be delivered. So what we can do after it's in there is we can go into our recovery testing area, and we can click on one of these devices, and you can see that the ones that are in plan on a monthly test, we actually have this option to view the screenshot. You can come out here and it's going to show you the last time it ran. We have a screenshot documentation of that system booted up, when it happened. After it's completed, it will shut it back down, and then it'll wait for its next 1 month kind of time window and do this again. And that is how you set up recovery testing to get your proof of life of your backups through the new recovery testing feature in the dashboard. Let me stop sharing, and we'll hand it over to Sarah for a demo.
Thanks again, Alex, and hello to all of our partners. I'm so excited to be here with you, and I really want to thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us. Again, my name is Sarah Foley, and I'm responsible for our monitoring and platform product lines, which includes RMM and N-Central. Today, I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about our new analytics feature. This is a feature that we're bringing to both our RMM and N-Central platforms. We'll be starting our preview here within the next month, and if there is any interest in that, please do feel free to email me at sarah.foley@solarwinds.com so that we can be sure to get your feedback. So with that, I'll go ahead and let's take a look into the dashboard. Today I'm showing you the analytics feature in the RMM dashboard. However, it will have a similar look and feel within N-Central. So what I'd like to do first is draw your attention here to the left-hand navigation bar. Here you'll see a new feature for our analytics option. So once you can click on that, you'll go ahead and see the analytics feature within the main dashboard. The analytics feature is kind of broken into 3 panes here, as you can see. We have our dashboard feature on the left. This is our basic analytics layout here. This is a left-hand folder tree. These icons here are showing you that these are our default reports that are shared down to you. So this means that these came from SolarWinds MSP. And as you can see, we have a variety of reports over here featuring our antivirus feature, looking at our backup product as well. You can create custom reports. We also have reports around our devices, including our agent status and any device summary details as well. Of course, patch management is one of our most important areas, and we're really excited to bring a new patch management report to you here with the analytics feature focused specifically on Windows 10. Over on this left tree, again, this is your basic folder structure, just allowing you to customize and lay out the reports as desired by feature. Taking a look here at our middle pane, you'll notice that all of the reports have a similar look and feel from the top. We're focused on our client and site breakdown, of course, the devices that apply to the report we're looking at as well, and any special other data specific to the report that we're looking at. Here you can see in the Windows 10 report, we're of course looking at Windows 10 filters specifically. With this middle pane view here, you can click on any of the data in the widgets, and you can choose to drill down and see more data. This will also then filter that data in the detail grid view at the bottom for you. So this detail view is similar to what you've seen in some of our existing reports today, but we're happy to enhance this with this drill down capability. I also want to now draw your attention over to the right pane. This is our filters pane, and what this does is it allows you to easily filter down any of the data that you're looking for. So I'm just going to actually do a quick reset here, and you can see I have clients, sites, devices listed here. All of this data is dependent on each other. So if you do filter for a specific site, you'll notice, excuse me, let me just do Sarah here. You'll notice that the sites filter will change as well. Let me go ahead and refresh that one. Looks like you don't have data in that site. You'll also notice here that on the right pane, as you drill down from the dashboard itself, you'll see that the right pane also changes here. So you can see that I've now chosen to filter on Google vendors, and so I can see what patches are missing specifically from Google in this report. So again, we have the left pane, which allows you for your report layout, the middle pane, which obviously is showing you your dashboard data, and then of course the right pane, which has these easy dependent filtering views for you. All right, so coming back over here to the left pane, what I did want to just call out here is the menu drop down here. When you're looking at a shared report, what you can do is duplicate, download, or restore a report. Anytime that you want to make a custom report, what you'll want to do is go ahead and duplicate this report, and then you'll see this report come down at the bottom. And here you'll be able to easily edit and filter the report to your desire. All right. Okay. So one other important note here is it's very critical that we are displaying only the data that's relevant to the user logged in. For example, if I'm logging in at a high-level MSP level, I'll be able to see all of my customers and devices. Whereas if I have a technician specific to one of my customer sites, they would be only able to see the data specific to their client and any sites that are underneath of that client, of course. So we do have security filters in mind here based on your permissions. Okay, so taking a look here at just quickly at one of our custom reports. So again, we can come to an existing report here. Choose to duplicate this report, and that's where we can really start messing around and editing it to our liking. So when we do come down here to one of my custom reports here, you can see that I've chosen to go ahead and add an additional text box and provide a header here. So to do something like that, you can just simply click the text box widget. This will go ahead and add your new text box down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead in here and come in and paste a image here. Okay, and you can see that I have a simple branded image here. I can also come and add more widgets or additional text boxes as well, and choose to move these around at different places in the report. I can also choose to take customized data that I have or widgets that I have in my customized report and delete them or duplicate things. So perhaps in this report that I was looking to send to my client, for some reason, maybe I didn't want the build breakdown. I could simply come here, delete this widget, and send it out to my liking. So anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed a quick view of our analytics product. Again, this is meant for you to be able to create your own reports, filter down on the additional information that we provided to you, and of course, share these with your clients. Again, we'll be looking to go into a preview option of this feature soon. So if you are interested, please definitely reach out to your account manager or to myself at sarah.foley, SARA.FOLEY @solarwinds.com. Thank you.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the session on customer success. My name is Colin Knox. I'm the head of community engagement here at SolarWinds MSP, and wanted to give you some information about the investments that we're making to help you succeed as a partner. So we've implemented and introduced a whole number of programs for the customer success organization within SolarWinds, and the big part of it is that we've been focused on making sure that you, the MSP, and our partners are at the center of everything we do. So when we came forward and looked at how we could help enable partners and help them drive to better success, we started to put together some programs. So first of all, we had our Success Center, which we'll dig in deeper in a little bit. We have continued populating content in the MSP Institute, which I will cover some of the things and what you have access to in there. We introduced our head nerds earlier this year, and we've really started to do a lot more focus on community. And as we keep doing these things, as we keep bringing on new programs for you, we decided to build a few teams to help support these programs and overall to help support different angles of your business. And that really started with the customer success onboarders. So we have customer success onboarding now to help standardize your onboarding experience, regardless of the product or additional products that you bring on with SolarWinds. We've introduced a whole team of customer success managers that are really focused on driving your success and helping make sure that you as an MSP continue to advance. We've introduced customer success engineers and then our customer care team to make sure that you have the quickest access and expedited resolutions to some of the other partnership and administrative challenges that you may incur or realize when you're working with SolarWinds. So let's dig in on some of these programs here and some of this information. So starting with the Customer Success Center, a lot of people actually don't go into the Customer Success Center on a regular basis. Some of them only go in to request support or do the odd little thing, but not realizing the wealth of everything that you have access to in there. So you've got access, obviously, to support so that you can submit tickets and check up on your old tickets with us. We have all of the product pages for you to have access to all the documentation, information, and tutorials on how to use, configure, and work with our products. You have access to forums where you can engage with other partners within our MSP community to help find out how they're dealing with certain situations, how they're leveraging our tool set, and get some Q&A going and conversation back and forth with them. We've got the MSP Institute accessible from within the Customer Success Center, so all the access to technical and business training. We have our ideas forum where you can submit product enhancement requests, feedback, and interact directly with our product management team and really help drive forward and evolve the product roadmaps for what we're building. Obviously, you also have access to the calendars of events of everything we're involved in, whether that's with the head nerds and their open office hours, whether that's on their boot camps that they're running, webinars we're hosting, events that we'll be at, and then wrapping up with a consolidated set of all of the blogs and educational content that we're putting out on a regular basis to help your organization stay ahead of the curve. Now, we mentioned the MSP Institute, so we have a lot of partners that leverage this, but then there's still a bunch of you who maybe aren't aware of it or haven't dug into it, and it's really all of this business and best practice training completely available to you, and it gives you an opportunity to learn from a number of MSP experts and leaders throughout the whole industry, and it's one of our investments that we're making in your success, because ultimately we want to help you become more profitable. We want to help you grow, and we want to help you succeed through our products, through the resources and know-how that we can help provide you. So within the MSP Institute, we've got available technical content and resources. So you can get platform training on SolarWinds RMM or on SolarWinds Essential. We offer tools trainings across our SolarWinds backup products, MSP Manager, Take Control, and Mail Assure, our mail security product. Beyond just the technical content, we also offer business content and resources for you guys to get some training on. And you can take that in streams by role, whether it's on management, sales, or marketing, and then by topic. So we have our security series, backup, EDR, and other market tactic strategies. And then you have different themes and methods of consuming it, whether it's by leveraging downloadable resources and tools, whether it's attending and watching through the Industry Experts series, the Customer Corner series, or tying into previous recordings of the office hours that our head nerds offer. Speaking of the head nerds, it's time, if you haven't yet, for you to meet your advocates. Meet the SolarWinds MSP head nerds. These are a team of industry experts and subject matter experts that have been positioned and brought in and made available to you from SolarWinds to help you succeed and help provide you guidance and counsel as you move forward and face any kind of challenges within your business. And overall, this team is focused on helping solve and remediate the things that keep you up at night, whether that's profitability or security, whether that's the commoditization and continuing commoditization of IT services, your business growth, or whatever other industry pressures are happening. We have Marc Andre, who's our head automation nerd. We have Eric Harless, our head backup nerd. Gil Langston, our head security nerd. Eric Anthony, our head operations nerd, and then Eris Demosthenes, who is our training content manager. We mentioned some of the programs that these guys have to offer, and the two that come up often are boot camps and office hours. And they're a way for you to engage with them either in a smaller setting or a bigger group setting and gain access to the knowledge of the things of what's happening in the industry, what's happening in their topic and subject matter, and ways that they can help drive you forward. So we offer boot camps across general and advanced automation, boot camps and office hour conversations on monitoring, about data protection and recovery, security. We've got some upcoming things coming with advanced security boot camps as well. We cover operational efficiency and PSA integrations to make sure that you are operating as efficiently and effectively in your business as possible, and really uncovering any of those quick wins that you can have. We cover content on program development and sales and information on that. So we've got some really cool things coming with some upcoming topics. We've got patch management bootcamp coming, some coverage of backup best practices, the advanced security I mentioned, and we're also doing some industry benchmarking, which I'll cover in just a little bit and talk a little bit more about what we're doing with that. But before I do, I wanted to jump back to some of the teams that were put together to really help you be successful with our products and just with your business overall. So I'll start with the customer success onboarders. And this really started as a rooted reason and understanding that you bought the products from SolarWinds for a reason. And we needed to give you a team to make sure that you attain the outcomes and the goals that you were seeking to. So when you buy any product from SolarWinds now, you will be contacted within 24 hours of that purchase by our onboarding team. They will make sure to first inform you of all the resources available to you to help you be successful with the products and within the SolarWinds community. And then they're going to work with you so that they can really narrow down on the exact reasons that you bought the product and help make sure that they have a plan with you so that you can use it for that purpose. They'll then help plan your initial training, they'll help with the implementation and make sure you get started sooner so that you can realize those benefits and outcomes that you were looking for when you bought the product. Next, we have our customer success management team. And this is a team that's all focused about you. It's not a team that has any quotas against them, and they're not sales. They're really focused on your needs, your goals, and your success. These are a team of people that have MSP industry knowledge and experience, so you're able to leverage their history. You don't have to worry about explaining to them who you are, what you do, what your purpose is as an MSP. They understand that, and they're here sitting ready and waiting to help you be successful. They also are able to serve as your dedicated point of contact here at SolarWinds MSP. So if you're having any issues, if you need something escalated, if you have feedback and you just want to talk to somebody, you can reach out to your customer success manager and really have those conversations, and they'll be your champion inside the organization. As they start to set a schedule of meetings with you and touch points with you, they're able to provide you with a lot of the market insights that we're seeing, help get you up to date with product information and changes and things that are happening, and then even assist you with some of your go-to-market strategies. Again, all about driving your success and helping you see some of the conversations and even frame the conversations that you can be having with your own customers and clients. I'll back up just a little bit here. So I mentioned benchmarking and some of the stuff that we're doing, industry benchmarking, and we've worked with a number of industry experts who already do some benchmarking, and there was a lot of broad information out there. And ultimately what we wanted to find out so that we can help all of our partners really succeed and grow and move forward was, what do the best-in-class MSPs do differently? And what does that mean for their business? And when you look at a lot of the research out there, especially with service leadership, what we realized is the top quartile of MSPs, the top 25% are achieving more than double the net profit of the middle 50. And when you look across all of product gross margin, services, sales costs, G&A expenses, and EBITDA, you can just see what the 25% is realizing as gains and benefits in their business, and why. And some of the key takeaways we've seen is that best-in-class MSPs receive more profit, obviously here as you see, but it's through operational efficiency. It's through prudent expense management and right-sizing their headcount and their compensation plans for their staff. And what we do see is that the bottom 25% of the market is actually still losing money. And we realize that we have some partners in that category, and we have a lot of partners in the median category. And so we want to be able to find out and identify exactly what it is that MSPs that the top quartile do that makes them so different. And some of the two things that we found is that they leverage these two different strategies. One is that they're able to sell products and services at a higher price with value-based selling, not price-based selling. And then they're able to build highly efficient service delivery models, which lowers that cost of their operations. And now working with all this data, working with a lot of the larger partners we have, we've put together a set of 23 key metrics that you can follow, that you can watch across revenue-based metrics, margin-related metrics, and cost-based metrics as well, to help monitor and watch the things that apply to your business and the business side of your company to really know how you're doing. And the next part is you can't really know how you're doing unless you're benchmarking that against others that are around you. And that's kind of where I'd like to introduce some of our new benchmarking program and best practices program. So again, driving towards what the top 25 do differently. But what we're doing is surveying our entire partner base of more than 22,000 MSPs around the world. We're doing quarterly surveys, and we're covering a variety of topics, from new customer acquisition, operational practices, program design, their service delivery, and a wealth of other topics. And then to make sure that the data is relevant to you and the insights are relevant to you, we're also segmenting all of this information and insights by the size of the company, both in the headcount and revenue bands. And then we're doing the geo-based and geographic-based segmentation, so that for you in the APAC region, you can see exactly in your region or maybe in your country how other MSPs are performing and the things that they're doing. So we invite everybody to participate. We do send the surveys out to everybody, and we will make sure that the survey link for the first survey is available to you as part of delivering even these recordings. The one thing to realize and the one perk that you can get out of participating is that only the participants actually get the reward of all of the data insights for participating. And the first survey that we've done is on security. Now, what I wanted to offer and what we will do is following this whole presentation, following the roadshow, we will have our team reach out to you to have a conversation with you, to talk to you about some of the insights we're seeing. As I mentioned, we started with that first survey on security, and we've gotten several hundred responses from it already, and we're uncovering some really interesting information and insights. And what we're realizing is that security is rated as the #1 growth opportunity for MSPs. However, if you are starting to grow a security practice, you will face several challenges, what we're seeing. You'll face challenges on how to educate customers on the real risks and why they should actually pay for security services. You'll have challenges on the optimal packaging and pricing and landing on what that should look like. And then ultimately even finding the right tool set to deliver that service. So we've been doing the in-depth research on the security topic. We found the best-in-class companies. We see amongst them with the highest growth and profitability, we're seeing what they're doing different. So we will follow up to schedule a time to share this information and these meaningful insights with you. And if it looks like an opportunity for your business, we can answer any additional questions at that time that you have related to your business and your local market and some of the security challenges. So with that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll continue to keep you informed of all of the other investments we're making and the programs that we're putting in place to help make you successful. Thank you very much. Without further ado, I do want to introduce Vivek Kumar from Microsoft, who's here to talk to you about all the things that they're doing on Microsoft 365. So Vivek, welcome to the Roadshow today, and thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Colin. As Colin said, I'm Vivek Kumar. I'm a product manager on Microsoft 365, and it is my pleasure to be here today. I want to talk about, and Colin, just to confirm, you can see my slides there. I want to make sure they're coming through to everyone.
Yep, the slides are up. Thanks, Vivek.
Okay, perfect. So as I was saying, I'm here to talk about Microsoft 365 Business Premium, how it can help MSPs like you in this current environment. Let me talk about that a little before I get into the Business Premium. Let me talk about the environment itself. As a partner, you're now dealing with an IT landscape that looks very different from what it was just a few months ago. Customers are working from home and from multiple locations. They're using a plethora of devices, some personal and some company owned. And probably also have a patchwork of remote work solutions that they've cobbled together to quickly pivot to work from home. But as they realize that remote work is here to stay, they have three things top of mind today. How can they do remote work better? How can they do it right? How can they ensure security of the data and devices in a distributed work environment? And how can they manage cost in the face of uncertainty that the current time presents? Talking a little more about this, make all of this more challenging. This is happening against a backdrop of increased cyber threats and phishing attacks related to COVID-19. Many of these target small and medium businesses, and medium and small businesses in turn then have to look to partners like you to guide them through these current times, not just for the security needs, but also their needs related to remote work. Thankfully, from Microsoft's side, we've got a few offerings to help customers and partners in these times. I got on the screen a bunch of offerings we've got targeted at small and medium businesses. I talked today about a most comprehensive solution called Microsoft 365 Business Premium and how it can help you deliver a more secure remote work solution to your customers. Microsoft 365 Business Premium is a comprehensive toolkit for small and medium businesses, bringing together best-in-class productivity apps from Office and collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams, along with advanced security and device management. And together, it brings this package that enables collaboration and productivity, but without sacrificing any protection of your data and whether it is your own data or that of your customers that the customers might be managing. Let's dig a little deeper in how this solution can be leveraged to deliver a better experience for your customers. First, let me talk about touch a little on Microsoft Teams. I think most of you here at MSPs probably know the other legacy, whether it is all the great Office apps you've got from Word, Excel, PowerPoint to our Powerhouse, Outlook, and Exchange tools. But I want to talk about Microsoft Teams here because it is an integrated solution where not only these great Office apps show up, to get a whole environment in which to collaborate together with colleagues at your small business. In case of MSPs, like you help small businesses collaborate. The key reason to use Teams, other than a bunch of separate products, is that it is one place to collaborate in. We interviewed recently a few customers and asked them what they like best about Teams, and the most common answer didn't exactly surprise us because they said it was the benefit of having everything together in one place. With Teams, you get one place to access your apps for video conferencing, chat, co-authoring, and co-authoring on documents. You get one place to have access to shared files and a history of conversations. And you also have one place where you can get integrated apps experience that you can customize for the workflow at a small or medium businesses. There are many point solutions that can do things mentioned here, but there's nothing as comprehensive and as well integrated as Microsoft Teams that you'll find out there. Let me also talk of the advanced security and device management capabilities that come included in Business Premium. Actually, let me talk about this in three buckets. There's the aspect of securing your identity and securing user access. And then there is this aspect of securing and managing devices and an aspect of securing data. Let's talk one by one about these. Enabling secure access is the first step towards enabling a remote work environment. And that's why Business Premium comes with Azure AD and Azure AD capabilities like conditional access, SSO, app proxy, with which you can give your workers or your customers the right kind of tools for the right kind of places. You can protect against stolen or lost password with multi-factor authentication, and you can combine multi-factor authentication with conditional access, which gives you control on who, where, and when can connect to apps and documents to have an advanced level of security of access. We've also recently added capabilities for Windows Virtual Desktop, which allows multi-session capabilities of remote desktop, and that is another enhanced way of securing access. The other set of capabilities that we've got in Business Premium are related to managing and securing devices. Business Premium includes Intune, which has a great set of capabilities for mobile app management, where you can protect personal data on, or in fact, company data on personal devices. And it includes PC and device management capabilities, where you can protect data on company-owned devices. Both of these tools have been ranked pretty high when it comes to benchmarks such as Gartner and other industry-leading ratings that are available out there. The other aspects that are included in Business Premium are related to Defender antivirus, which in today's world is kind of table stakes, having a top-rated antivirus like Defender. And the other capabilities is Autopilot. Autopilot is great because it can save a lot of time for partners when it comes to provisioning or reprovisioning of devices for customers. And in the current times, you can actually do it remotely. So this cloud-based service is great when it comes to provisioning and deploying devices. Finally, touching on the last bucket, with increased cyber attacks related to COVID, it is more important than ever now to protect your customers with a comprehensive security solution, which is why BP comes with capabilities of advanced threat protection, with which you can have protect against anti-malware and anti-phishing attacks that could be hitting your customers. It also includes data loss protection, data loss prevention, and Azure information protection, so that you can protect against data leaks that might be happening when you're losing control of your data because people who are not shouldn't be accessing it are getting access to it. And finally, it includes cloud app discovery, which is a way to figure out what is the usage of different web and cloud apps at your small business or a small business that you are managing, and within that figuring out what is the low, high, medium risk associated with apps, and which of those apps then should be brought under IT control and management. So pulling back a little bit, if you look left to right, this package of advanced security and device capabilities that is available in Business Premium is second to none. You can get, again, point solutions to do many of the capabilities here, but you'll have to spend more money and more time to put them all together to work well. Which brings me to the next slide that I have got. Talking all up, all the key benefits or the key benefits that are available to MSPs because of using Business Premium. First, there's an integrated solution that helps you and your customers reduce cost and complexity. Second, it gives you baseline capabilities on which you can easily build more managed service offerings. And finally, it helps you get up and running quickly because of a simplified experience. Colin, I just wanted to make sure you're still able to see my slides.
Yep, definitely.
Perfect. Talking about the benefits for MSPs, I quickly wanted to touch on this slide because, as I talked about, BP includes a number of capabilities from Windows Virtual Desktop and Azure AD to Intune and Teams in one solution that is designed to work together well. So it'll reduce your licensing complexity as well as learning curve cost associated with support or help desk. Plus, you have to only deal with one billing and management solution system now. You can, as I touched on a little bit earlier, you can then build a robust set of add-on services using BP as a foundation. And as an example, many of our partners have added Business Voice as an add-on, which is available from Microsoft. Some of them will add on things like Microsoft Defender ATP or Cloud App Security Broker on top of the foundational offering of Business Premium. And then they'll add on their own services to help partners adopt, to train them, maybe even monitoring and management capabilities. Finally, with an integrated admin console, which includes step-by-step guided wizard, it's easy to deploy and easy to get started with. And you have the flexibility of customizing those to your client needs. That is some stuff that I wanted to cover today, but there's one more slide that I have, which I think you'll find very interesting as a MSP who's been using SolarWinds tools previously. I'm excited to share that in the past week, Microsoft and SolarWinds announced that we are making it easier for partners to manage devices and threats from the existing SolarWinds dashboards. As part of the collaboration, SolarWinds will integrate M365 capabilities, starting with Intune into the remote monitoring and management tools. The new capabilities, which will be rolling out later this year, will enable MSP partners using SolarWinds tools such as N-Central or RMM dashboards to discover and service devices managed by Intune from those dashboards itself. This means that the entirety of client devices are a partner can be managed from one place with the same configuration and alerting policies, strengthening data protection and enhancing monitoring efficiency. If you're interested in learning more, this link mentioned on the slide is where specialists from SolarWinds and Microsoft will show up in 2 days to take you through a demo of the integration capabilities and answer any questions that you have got. Please join if this is an announcement that interests you. One more thing that I wanted to quickly cover is this slide from Gartner, which talks of the capabilities that Microsoft has to offer in the security realm and how that compares to other offerings that are available. As you'll see that Gartner has placed that in Magic Quadrants for some 5 of these different areas when it comes to security and device management. That is a testament to the strength and innovation that we are bringing to this space. Finally, I want to talk of what other partners have achieved or MSPs have achieved with Business Premium. We've seen in just the past year almost a 3x in growth in Business Premium, and almost 10,000, actually more than 10,000 partners selling Business Premium across the world. This is a remarkable achievement in just a small period of time. And with this new collaboration that we are doing with SolarWinds, I think we are going to beat these milestones in the coming quarters and years. But it's not just about top line impact. There is also bottom line benefits that you get by Business Premium. One of our partners in France found they were able to increase customer stickiness by 50% by managed services built on top of Business Premium, which flows directly down to their profitability, which is so critical in times like this. Overall, we are hearing that more and more customers are investing in Business Premium solution, and partners are really building solutions on top of it and finding a lot of growth opportunities. I know I'm almost at time, so I want to leave you with this final slide. I won't drain this. You can, at the AK link mentioned here, you can go and find these tools. These are tools to help you get conversations started with customers, whether it is ready templates or opportunity decks or emails that you can send out to them, whether it is a consulting tool that you can use to kick off on security conversations with them, or a value calculator that helps you compare cost of Microsoft 365 offerings versus others. That's all I had for you today. Yeah, if you've got any questions, please type away. I know we've got a few people to help answer those.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thanks, Vivek. And anybody, if you do have any questions, feel free to submit them through the Q&A of the actual event platform, or feel free to just reach out to your rep and we will get any questions answered for you. Understand that there are some challenges with some of the interactivity here as part of the pivot on this event, but thanks for everything, Vivek, and for your presentation today. That was awesome. So we will now move into the local market conditions peer panel. So what I'll do is do a quick introduction of the panelists today. We have some questions lined up for them, and look forward to the conversation that ensues here. So if we can bring the panelists online, that would be great. First, we have Kane Sadok from BITS Technology Group. Kane has a background in corporate IT world and has technical infrastructure certifications. Kane acts as a bit of a translator for BITS Technology Group, translating customers' business needs into IT outcomes, no matter what their size, anywhere from 5 to 5,000 seats and above. Next, we have joining us Chris Motton with Advanced Computing. Chris started Advanced Computing back in 1999 and is passionate about supporting regional businesses, especially those in the agricultural industry, in which he has several large customers. And for Chris, it's all about empowering businesses, organizations, and users to achieve more with modern technology. And our last finalist, but panelist, not finalist, but not last but not least, Bill Linham with Kinetics Group. Bill is a born and bred Kiwi with decades of experience in the IT industry, joining Kinetics when founded in 1996. So with almost 3 decades past, Bill has assisted with Kinetics' success in becoming a multi-award-winning company that offers a variety of IT services and solutions to customers throughout New Zealand, Australia, Europe, and North America. So welcome to the panel today, guys, and thank you very much for your participation.
No worries, thank you.
And if we can get their video streams up, that would be perfect, and then we can get kicked into the questions for today. I guess as we're waiting for that, guys, we'll start with kind of the first question, which just go in order of left to right with how I see you on my screen. So Kane, we'll start with you. What impact has COVID-19 had on your revenue so far?
Look, we've been quite fortunate, I guess, in that most of our clients, we had already sort of had, cloud services in place. We already had a very distributed model. We were managing identities rather than just managing workstations. So for us, it was very easy for us to transition our clients into a readily movable workspace. What I will say is that revenue definitely plateaued. So, when we speak to our peers in the industry, they go one of 2 ways, where they got a whole bunch of work because they were doing a whole lot of, migration to the cloud or virtualizing desktops, things like that. But because we'd already done that for our clients, we didn't see that uptick. But what I will say is that, yeah, we sort of plateaued a bit, which is better than a lot of the other industries out there. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Bill, over to you. How has this impacted your guys' revenue at Kinetics?
A similar story. At first, all our projects went on hold. I mean, we were very busy. In New Zealand, we had a total lockdown. Everybody had to work from home, and we absorbed a lot of that cost for our all-you-can-eat clients as we partnered with them. So we took the view that moving them all to working from home was just part of our partnership with them. Since then, we've really seen things starting to pick up again. We've been for a long time focusing on a MSP version 2 type services around consulting, training and adoption of productivity tools out of 365, and that really is taking off for us. Everybody's adopting Teams faster than you can shake a stick at it. So looking positive right now.
No, absolutely. The growth that we're seeing across Teams growth and other collaboration and web conferencing tools is just insane to see. Chris, how have you guys been impacted over at Advanced Computing?
Yeah, very similar actually to both. I think because we're located in Victoria for starters, we've probably had a slightly different experience to Queensland and New Zealand again. But being in sort of northern Victoria, we haven't had that impact that some of our Melbourne counterparts have had. But certain projects were put on hold or deferred for a little bit, whereas others were brought forward. So for us, it was really again, it sort of plateaued, but it sort of brought forward a lot of these considerations where some organisations might have had remote work capability, whereas others said we've got nothing and we need 100 people tomorrow. So it was a bit of a mix of either ramping up capability if they already had it, or starting from scratch for those that would never have considered it previously, other than maybe 1 or 2 people. So yeah, it certainly changed a lot of things, a lot of Teams, a lot of Windows Virtual Desktop, and a lot of those sort of technologies is driving that forward and making sure that it's secure, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's been interesting to watch how different verticals and different industries have been impacted. A lot of the tech companies and collaboration and remote type tools have grown up, and then obviously hospitality hit hard. How have you, I guess we'll go back to Kane, how have you guys handled requests for cost reductions from clients and all of this? What's been kind of your approach, or have you had to a whole lot?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have. So our head office is based on the Gold Coast in Queensland. So, tourism makes the world go round up here. And we definitely had some clients. I mean, we had one of our clients was a PR firm, and half their business evaporated overnight because they were doing PR for things like stadiums and hotels and things like that. So yeah, look, it was a challenge. I think a partnership is the right way to approach it, right? Like yes, it's a business relationship, but we're really big on partnering with our clients. So when they came to us and said, hey, look, this is what's happening in our industry, or this is what's happening with our business, and we need a hand, we would always accommodate where we could, but we also make it obvious that we're in a commercial relationship, right? Like, we're not a charity, and while we'll do everything we can to help, we're happy to, reduce the contract or pause the period or something like that, but ensuring that we sort of, secure that revenue on the back end, so that when things ramp back up, the contract term is picking up from where it stopped, or the services, ramp back up accordingly. We weren't sort of blanket cancelling contracts or anything like that.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Bill, what's your guys' approach been overall with handling those types of requests?
Well, we were quite proactive. We were in business during the global financial crisis, so we sort of learnt a few lessons there. And also we belong to quite a few peer groups, and we like to join webinars like this, and you get a lot of ideas. So we were very proactive to go out to those clients and travel and events and discount them, help them quickly close down those services they didn't need, and just try and help those businesses that, and some of them we've dealt with for as long as we've been in business. Other clients that have been coming to us, typically, of course, they want to reduce their costs. We have a good practice of maintaining our recommendations to clients and feeding them back to them every quarter. So for a lot of these clients, we've actually been able to say, well, hey, we've been talking to you for the last 2 years about maybe doing a project to retire some old equipment or something. Shall we focus on getting those projects going and reduce costs? The other thing is with our MSP version 2 type business is to say to people, well, rather than spending money, now's the time to invest in actually upskilling your staff. Use those Microsoft tools from 365 that you already have and leverage those. So we're actually probably seeing right now more consumption of services as people prepare for the issues that we know are coming down the pipeline, because both in New Zealand and I think in Australia, we're kind of living in a false economy right now as our governments pump a lot of money into the economies. So yeah, just helping our clients get ready for that inevitable crash that's going to be here sooner or later this year.
Yeah, very good points. Chris, what's your guys' approach been?
Yeah, similar in terms of, pausing services or reducing headcount. So, organisations that might have sort of lost 30 or 40 staff or something like that, to be able to, respond to that very quickly and say, right, well, you don't need these services or these licenses or whatever. It has brought forward a number of projects to really respond to how they deal with their customers and how they get their products to market. So it's just changed things. It hasn't really meant that we've had to have those conversations around, cancelling invoices or anything like that. It's really just sort of changed our focus in terms of some of those clients that we're working on.
Yeah, no, all very good points, gentlemen. And for the attendees who are on, we at SolarWinds, we hosted a webinar on some revenue preservation tactics, which was in our COVID-19 resource hub. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. A lot of things in line with what these gentlemen are saying here too. Chris, we'll start first with you this time so that you're not at the end. What would you say you learned about your company as a result of the pandemic that most surprised you?
The same as everybody else. No, I think for us, resilience has certainly been up there. I think knowing, that we've got a strong client base and that, we've been able to, I guess, continue to operate as per normal. Probably the mix of clients that we do have in terms of the industry mix that we have. So that has allowed us to not be impacted by, a major change in, say, one particular industry. In terms of our staff, it's been really interesting to see, we've sort of given people the flexibility to work from the right place at the right time for the right task. But, just where they gravitate to, obviously there's something to be said about being in an office with a group of people that really can't be replaced through, technology. And, we've been able to pick and choose those moments, which has been really good.
No, excellent. And Bill, what have you guys learned most surprisingly about your organization?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I mean, when everything went wrong, when everybody had to pack up and go home, and all our clients had to do the same, our staff did what we hire them for and we train them for. Everybody stepped in. It was all about helping the clients. So I'm not going to say I was surprised by that. I'm grateful and impressed, but actually this is what they trained for. What has surprised me is, as I've reached back out to my peers and things have settled down, I've started talking to other IT companies again, has been the split in attitude about coming back to work. So at first here in Kinetics, I could see there was a difference of opinion between whether all the technical staff should come back into the office or stay at home. And at first I thought it was based on age. Basically, if you were born before 1970, they needed to come back in the office. Then as I started to reach out to other companies, I started to change my idea about that. And it looks, the way I'm seeing it right now is if you're born perhaps after 1985 or 1990, you want to stay at home. If you're born before 1970, you probably still want your staff back in the office. The people in between, it seems to be more perhaps whether they've come from a technical background. If they've done a lot of managing technical teams, they tend to want to have them back. They want to mentor them. They want to have that communication going on. If they've come perhaps from more of a sales background, they seem more inclined to say, well, let's continue to work from home. It's been interesting to watch that happening around our peers and here at Kinetics as well.
That's definitely an interesting perspective there. Kane, what about you guys?
Mate, I reckon whether or not you're coming back to the office is how many kids you got at home. I tell you what, I was out of there as quick as possible. I tell you, I couldn't get anything done. But in all honesty, what surprised me the most about the company, I think, was just the fact that the guys were able to completely seamlessly operate and sort of, I guess for me, reassured us that we had picked the right tools, right? Like SolarWinds is obviously a very key partner of ours, and the ability for us to be able to deliver the services that we were delivering from anywhere completely seamlessly without skipping a beat, that really, really reassured me that we had made the right choices. So that's sort of the kind of thing that surprised me the most, is that there was no hiccups at all. It was pretty, even in Australia where internet is sometimes two pieces of string with some cups on either side, we were still able to deliver those services without any issues at all. And it was largely because of the tools that we had. So that did surprise me. I was expecting there to be more issues because nature of what we do, we run into technical issues all the time. But yeah, it was good to know that the tools and the platforms that we were using to support our customers were the right ones for the job.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. I know it's the trying times like this where you find out either what the company or the team was made of, or what your infrastructure and everything was made of. Is it good to handle the load? Is it not? And what we've heard from a lot of people is, in crisis and times of this, you can see a lot of points for improvement. You can see a lot of opportunities. Where across your client base, or even in what you've been seeing, Kane, which industries or verticals have you seen growth in or showing the most promise for your practice?
I guess for us, it's more of a business model that we see. So, we sort of specialize in multi-site and aggregation style businesses. And particularly with the advent of COVID, those kind of businesses generally have, fared a bit better, mainly because they have centralized systems, right? Like a lot of the stuff that they're doing is managed by us largely. So therefore, that those kind of businesses are working really well. Businesses that were a bit more traditional and then, I guess, moved on to being more centralized during COVID have then come out the other side a bit better as well. So I think it's a combination of things, but largely what I will say is businesses that are moving towards that centrally managed rather than being independently siloed are generally faring better. And that's where we'll see more and more growth.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Bill, is there certain verticals or industries that you guys play in that you've seen a lot more growth or opportunity in?
Look, conventional wisdom is to, at a point like this, to follow the public money, where is the government pouring the funds into, and in New Zealand that's infrastructure. But across our client base, which is professional services, based on past times, some will do better than others. It's going to be more a change of attitude with the clients rather than following a vertical. For us, what we expect and what we're seeing happening is less talk about perhaps people replacing PCs and more about empowering their staff using the tools they've got, making things last longer. So a lot more focus on helping clients actually use the tools they've already got. Also seeing an uplift on the security side, which sort of is tracking somewhat similar to what we saw in Christchurch after the earthquakes down there, when there was a window where everybody was talking DR. So I am noticing that now that owners have seen all their staff disappear, go home, and at that point that meant remote access and maybe data on home PCs, the whole conversation about security has got a lot more oxygen and been reinvigorated, whereas it was getting a bit stale pre-COVID.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Chris, is there certain verticals that you guys are coming up against, or that you're seeing that shows opportunity, has shown growth? And we'll blend into the next question a little bit here too, is looking as we're exiting 2020 now, we're on the back half of the year. Most companies are starting their plans for 2021. What strategic approach? What do they want to put into place over the next 6 months? What do you see as one of the most significant opportunities entering into 2021?
Yeah, certainly the security aspect that Bill just alluded to is becoming more important. The announcement that the Prime Minister made a couple of weeks ago was sort of being joked about as the stimulus package for the IT industry in terms of security. So, that's certainly a big focus for our clients going forward, because we do a lot of work in agriculture and manufacturing. A lot of those industries were really, inundated with, to produce goods as part of this COVID-19. So agriculture is a big part of what we do. Manufacturing will continue to be. A lot of improvements in terms of the way that our clients engage with their customers and how they collect, and action feedback. So a lot of reporting, a lot of integration work is important as well. So security, making most of the tools that people have already got, gaining and actioning insights from their actual, from their business and their customers is important. And things like, continuing on the remote work angle in terms of things like Teams calling, and some of those things are really important as well.
No, that's great. Bill, you're nodding your head. What else comes to mind there for you opportunistically for?
Well, look, certainly Teams is just massive, and it's only been recently that Teams calling itself has really been available in New Zealand. So expect to see lots of that. The other thing is this is a time for those clients that aren't already on an all-you-can-eat agreement. They're looking to actually fix their costs for the next year or so. They want to know how much their IT is going to cost them. So there's a massive opportunity for those guys that are currently on your bronze or silver type agreements to move across to a gold one. And we're already seeing that happening across quite a few of our second and third tier clients.
No, that's great. Kane, where are you seeing some opportunity entering into 2021? What are some of the things you guys are planning for, I guess, and areas to look at really spurning that growth engine again?
Yeah, look, I think it's a combination of things. Definitely security and identity management. So less workstation device centric managed services, and I think that's really where the industry is moving, because ultimately things are they're going to become very throwaway very soon. So A lot of that, managing security identities, centralizing the management of that. And then also really giving people the insights to manage their business. So, that consulting piece, that business intelligence, how do you help them get the most out of the systems and data that they're currently capturing and, that we manage on their behalf. So that's really where I see us doing that. It really contributes value to the customer. It's a very proactive and positive thing. And from there, you can, drive things like, revenue, cost savings, etc. Because you're arming your customers with the right tools to do the job.
So all of you guys have mentioned security as an opportunity. I think the world has had this great security opportunity for a long time, and both the awareness and the appetite for it are now very primed. What sort of things are you guys doing to put in place to address that security focus now? So obviously there's a worldwide skill shortage when it comes to security skills amongst technicians, and a plethora of solutions and trying to stitch that together. So Chris, we'll start with you here about how you're setting yourself to be prepared for that.
Yeah, so certainly we're a SolarWinds RMM customer, so we do a lot of work in that space, in that stack. Things like just documentation through the Passportal suite's obviously been handy, but other than that, it really just comes back to the basics. I mean, we sort of look at things like the ASD Essential 8 from the Australian government and action a lot of those items. It really just comes back to awareness, training, and making sure that even just simple things like backups and test restores and things like that are completed. That's really the first step for us is really just getting a lot of those that baseline under control, and then actually look at what their particular requirements are for their industry, or their compliance requirements are for the industries that they're working in. So then it really becomes more of a consultative piece. It's past that point of one size fits all. It's really tailoring it to that particular vertical.
Excellent. Bill, what kind of groundwork are you guys putting in place to be hitting the market hard?
Okay. Well, first of all, we focused on our own security. So I think one of the first things we did was we went out and got a product called Passportal. You might have heard of it, Colin. And got all our passwords into that. Then we've started focusing on training our own staff. That's difficult because we've already been through the experience of training people up and then been offering a lot more money, often elsewhere, and losing them. One of the good things is a lot of, from our point of view, is a lot of security is about people, and we're actually really a company that does a lot of consulting. We don't actually sell kit and hardware so much, so that really plays to us to be out there doing the training, but doing the awareness. We've been investing a lot of time into those security add-ons. To go out there and really be able to stand in front of people, do the training sessions, do the electronic online learning, and then back that up with the traditional EDR, remote access solutions, so on and so forth. But we come at it from that empowering the staff, teaching the staff focus first.
Yeah, that's great. I have heard of Passportal. That's great to hear. I've long been a proponent of keep getting your house in order. Kane, what are some of the things groundwork-wise that you guys are putting in place? I mean, you brought up the security, you brought up a lot about your focus moving into the year. So how are you guys addressing the preparation for that?
Yeah, we're actually making security just part of our standard offering. So we don't have it as a separate thing anymore. Basically, if you want services from us, you get security as part of it. It means that we're more expensive, but it also means that we can be comfortable knowing that our clients are looked after and they're not going to suffer because they wanted to take a lower plan or something like that, essentially. And in doing so, we do a lot of that proactive training. We do a lot of the education piece to our clients. As we all know, the biggest fault with systems is usually what's between the keyboard and the chair most of the time. So that is a bit of a challenge. But yeah, look, that's largely what we're doing, is taking that really proactive approach and just saying that, hey, look, And that is largely what the Prime Minister was saying. Security isn't optional anymore. It's not the kind of thing that you can skimp on. So that's really the approach that we've taken. And we've found, at first we thought that we would get a bit of pushback, but we've actually found that most customers seem to appreciate that proactive approach.
Excellent. Let's jump over to Chris here. We've talked a lot about what's surprised us or impressed us over the course of this, and we've talked about preparation. We've talked about investments that we're making and laying groundwork. One thing that keeps coming up and is involved in all of this is the people. It's our team. And what we're hearing from a lot of partners is asking for advice on how and what are you doing to keep your team inspired and motivated and keeping their spirits up in this whole state of unknown for themselves and fairly stressful periods for IT people. So what have you guys been doing to help keep that morale level up and
Yeah, I guess it's a real mix. There really hasn't been a silver bullet or something that we've just implemented and gone fantastic. In the early days, it was really just replacing the Friday night drinks with drinks via video call or something like that. But past that sort of initial stage and some of the things that we were doing around that replacing some of those things that we were already doing with a new virtual equivalent. I guess it's really just about engaging each of those teams. The stand-ups that we're having each day, we're sort of, giving everybody the opportunity to sort of rate themselves and, how they're feeling and sort of starting to really follow that up. It's been really interesting because it's not just something prescriptive that you can just go, all right, well, we've, if someone says that there are 3 today, we've got to, follow it up or do something like that. It's really just, noticing internally, how people are dealing with things. Encouraging people to take leave has probably been another big thing that we've done. Obviously, going into this pandemic, we were looking at the balance sheet and looking at it, accrued leave and sort of encouraging some people to take some time off. But it's more than that. It's really just, hey, you're in this environment now where the lines between home and work have blurred, which for some people that's just been the way it's always been, but for others that's a completely foreign concept. Why don't you just take a day off Thursday this week and sort of reset yourself or take a week off? Obviously in Victoria we have restrictions on, well, we can't really go anywhere to go on holidays. So some of those things that you would have taken a break or gone overseas or something like that and used that as your ability to recharge has now been replaced with, hey, head home and sit at home for a couple of days. So there hasn't been one thing. It's been a real mix of staying plugged into each team, having open discussions and admitting, even from a leadership position that, I have bad days. With this, it's pretty easy to go down the spiral of watching the COVID, feed on your news feed and sort of, getting, it's pretty heavy. So, that's it.
Excellent. Kane, what are you guys doing? What tactics are you guys taking to drive up employee engagement in a time like this?
Yeah, look, I mean, winning the hearts and minds of your staff is your job as a leader, I guess. And a big part of that is exactly that, is understanding that, hey, people are still people. They're working from home or they're working in slightly different work environments. Really, that engagement via Teams or Slack or the tools that you're using are really, really key to that, because you want to keep people engaged. Keep the lines of communication open, because where you would normally, maybe tap someone on the shoulder from across the desk, you can't do that anymore. So a large part that we found is that continued, regular communications. We've taken to scheduling more frequent video conferences and things like this, just to keep that engagement up. And as a result, we've found people are then taking it upon themselves to do the same. So you kind of, are breeding a culture of communication and a culture of openness by encouraging that at a top level and that filtering down. So I guess that's sort of what we've found, is that by increasing the communication, increasing the openness of the team, the team themselves then, proliferate that, and as a result, everyone's morale sort of stays up. The last thing you want is people going from a social work environment to then, whether it's a self-enforced or a government-enforced, isolation environment, to then also feel isolated from the company and the team they're working with. So that's really what we've gone on to do.
Excellent. No, that's definitely great. Bill, I'm intrigued and anxious to hear your answer. You broke up the return to office discussion with a demographic spread of birth years. So have you approached employee engagement in a similar manner?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of discussion here, and I think the general consensus was the best way to have employee engagement was that I stay in a room on my own, not talk to them. Look, there's some real challenges coming. I think it was touched on a moment ago. The New Zealand and Australia, both countries are trying to eliminate the virus, and we're likely to become isolated from the rest of the world. And both countries are very used to traveling all the time. Everybody goes overseas on a regular basis. And that kind of break to get away from it, the traditional, I'm going to go to Fiji or the Cook Islands or somewhere, or even for New Zealand to Sydney for a bit of a break, that's going to disappear. And this is going to be a real challenge for us to deal with that, how people are actually going to step right away from work in future. For New Zealand itself, we're outside of the travel restrictions of not being able to go overseas. We're kind of back into a normal state, or as normal as we can get currently. Everybody, if we wanted to, we could have everybody back in the office, but we're going through revisiting all those policies and asking ourselves perhaps what a new normal looks like. I'm not going to say we've got the answer to that yet. We got together a few groups just 2 weeks ago to go over this and start brainstorming whether or not our traditional policies and processes are still valid in this new world. So no hard and fast answer yet.
No, great. All great feedback across the board, guys. We'll wrap with one final question here to end this. And I know this one's out of left field a little bit for you guys, but when it comes to your approach for marketing, as you guys have gone through this pandemic, as you're looking to exit the pandemic, how have you adapted your approach to marketing? I know some people have doubled down and overinvested. Other people have, leaned back a little bit. But Chris, we'll start with you. What your approach to adapted marketing's been?
It probably hasn't changed, Colin. I think in terms of the way that we go about it, it hasn't really changed the effort or the dollar figure or anything like that. It hasn't really changed, I suppose. That's probably all I can say for that one. It hasn't really changed our approach. And we're just as busy now as we were 4 or 5 months ago. So, it hasn't really we haven't had to replace any work or generate new work or change the way that we're engaging customers. We're probably just trying to be a little bit more proactive in terms of news that's being released and things that will affect those particular customer segments. But that's about it, really.
Excellent. Kane, have you guys adapted your marketing approach much?
Yeah, we did. I mean, look, like I said to you before, we were a very relationships-focused business, and a lot of our business came from attending events, came from that networking and I guess proactive, having a presence in the local and broader community, and that obviously can't happen. So that was a bit of a challenge for us. We definitely focused much more digitally. Social media, a lot of that sort of stuff, which is good. So we kind of doubled down on that. A bit of a shift, I guess, but it was a good thing because it did demonstrate that we are able to generate business that way as well. So look, it's something that I guess like anything, right? Like you have to adapt to the times, and the times are changing. That new normal, just saying it sounds weird, but that's really what it's going to be. The normal that we were used to is gone for good. So. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And Bill, any parting thoughts from you on marketing adaptations?
Look, we've already seen that clients are now much more likely to attend a virtual event. We had one, it might have been late last week, or perhaps it might Yeah, I think it was maybe Thursday last week. And if we have an event here, we might get 20 people turn up. I think we had 60 people register for a virtual event. Well, we couldn't have had 60 people here. There were 40 people who attended it, and I think most of them stayed on all the way through. So that's showing us that the way that our clients are prepared to engage, that has changed. So there'll be a lot more focus around that for us in future. Do it all online, like this, with sound.
Excellent. Sorry, the unmute button was evading me for a second there. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation. This panel's been great. I've enjoyed the dialogue. Your guys' input and advice has been very welcome, I'm sure, by a number of the attendees here today. For the rest of the audience, we are going to enter into a brief break period right now, and then we will be resuming at 2:45. What you will see if you refresh your screens at the close of this session, at the very top, you will see a room 1 and room 2 option. On the agenda, if you are looking to stay along the yellow track, starting with the RMM product roadmap, go into room 1, which is this current room. If you want to attend the green track for Incentral roadmap and forward, room 2. And you can hop between as you so choose. And then later in the day, when the breakout sessions have wrapped up, we'll reconvene here for some closing local partner awards and closing remarks. So we'll give you a few minutes to go top up your waters, get another coffee, and get you ready for the product roadmaps. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good.
Thanks, Colin.
All right, we are back for our local partner awards and closing remarks. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks for sticking with us throughout some of the technical difficulties and through the rest of the sessions. We greatly appreciate your partnership. We appreciate your attendance and your engagement over the course of the virtual roadshow here today for the APAC region. If I can get the slides brought up, I think most people have filtered in. So without further ado, let's move forward with some of the local partner awards. So the first award that we're going to cover is MSP of the Year for 2020 in the APAC region. This partner has demonstrated the most growth and market leadership within APAC. The nominees are Milnesbridge IT Voice and Data, Fourier Technologies, Comwire IT, and CT Group Solutions. And the winner is Milnesbridge IT Voice and Data. Congratulations on your growth and for just really leveling up and winning the MSP of the Year here. We will be reaching out to all the award winners in the next couple days to get shipping information and to confirm the shipment of your award out to you, which should come fairly quickly. Moving on to the next award, Top Growth Year Over Year for 2020 in APAC. This is the partner that has had the highest year-over-year growth across the SolarWinds MSP product lines within APAC. And the nominees are Blue Apache, Focus Technology Group, Procision, Tropus IT and Management. And it feels a little underwhelming without the drum roll, but the winner is Focus Technology Group. Congratulations to you guys on this award. The next award is the Best Technical Expert, an individual for remote monitoring and management. This is a person that has taken their SolarWinds remote monitoring and management platform to new heights and has developed and utilized advancements to distinguish their abilities across the marketplace and for their customers. The nominees for Best Technical Expert for remote monitoring and management are Bill Lunham from Kinetics Group, Lydia Russell from Scope Logic, Bradley Kane from KMT Group, and Sam Spronk from Progressive Business Technologies. And the winner is Sam Spronk from Progressive Business Technologies. Congratulations, Sam. We will be in touch to ship the award out to you. The next award is Best Technical Expert for Backup. So the person that's taken backup to new heights. The nominees for the Best Technical Expert on Backup are Mark Johnson from Fred IT, Bernard Mangelsdorf from BITS Technology Group, James Borg from Teamwork Technology, Adam Robson from OneCall, Lee Shrimpton from Comwire IT, Julian Ma from Singapore Computer Guys, and Cam Malik from High Tech IT Works. And the winner of Best Technical Expert for Backup is Mark Johnson with Fred IT. Congratulations, Mark. Now we've got the Best Technical Expert for Documentation. And this is the person who's taken documentation to new heights and distinguished their abilities across the marketplace for their customers. The nominees are Scott Riddell from JB Hi-Fi, Johan Mentz from SystemNet, Chris Motten from Advanced Computing, and Owen Smith from Communet. And the winner is Chris Motten from Advanced Computing. Congratulations, Chris. And now we have the award for Best Security Practice and our final award for the day. This partner has best demonstrated an ability to continually advance their security offerings and works to mitigate risk on an ongoing basis for their customers. And the nominees are Tropis IT and Management, Pipis Technology Solutions, Murray Computers, Future Computers, Computer Troubleshooters North Dunedin, and Frixis Technologies. And the winner for Best Security Practice is Tropis IT and Management. Congratulations, everybody. And great work over the last year, and thanks again for your partnership. In closing, we want to again offer our thank you for your participation today, offer thanks for your engagement, and we hope that you enjoyed the presentations today, that there was some educational content and value for you. And if you have any feedback for us, please do reach out to your account managers, your account reps, and we will be following up with a post-event survey so that we can make sure that we can continue to elevate our own game with roadshows like this for you guys to keep delivering great content with great speakers. Thanks again for your time today. Thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for your partnership. We hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have a great day.